Hello everyone, it's Sean from Sean Says Hockey here, and after my NHL predictions video, I wanted to quickly put up a video for the Ottawa Senators. So obviously I'm predominantly an Ottawa Senators channel here, collecting cards, going through memorabilia and also sort of recaps and just basically general goings on with the team from the UK perspective. So I have to stay up and watch most of the games very late in the evening. They are due to start their season on Friday night over here technically, so it will be a midnight puck drop for me over here against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Cannot wait for puck drop on the new season, guys. So a few changes to this sort of video type you might have recognised from the previous video that I put up when I went through the team with Brian and Blake, my Canadian family. That I'm not going to be able to do it this time, just basically due to time constraints, and also we've got a little bit of an illness thing going around the family at the moment, so just trying to free time up, and late nights at the moment are just going to be a bit of a nightmare for me to sort out. So I thought I would quickly just put a video together. I've had all the notes prepared all over the summer, so there's a few things I want to touch on and just look ahead to the new season. When it comes to my last prediction video, I did pretty well, to be honest. The predictions that I made for the Sens, I said Thomas Chabot would have a bounce back year. Last year, he certainly did that in a big way, to be honest. At times last season, he looked absolutely amazing alongside Nick Jensen, who thankfully is back skating with the Sens. After an injury that he sustained in the playoffs last season, it's good to see Nick back with the team and hopeful for a strong pairing again with Thomas Chabot, as we just mentioned. I also said that my breakout player for the season one to watch would be Tyler Cleven. He actually had a career year last year with the Sens. Listen to me, career year. This will technically be his fourth season, and he's currently on the injured reserves actually at the moment. But last season he played 79 games, so he missed 3 games last season. In 2022-23 he split time between North Dakota and the USA national team, but he also played with the Sens, and he played 8 games that season. 23-24 he played 9 games with the Sens and 53 with Bellevue. And their last season just gone, 24-25, he played 79 games, as I said, got himself 4 goals and 6 assists, good for 10 points. Also, they were big goals from memory as well that he scored, and he also chipped in with a few assists in the playoffs for the Sens last year. So Tyler Cleven landed in a big way. He also landed 1 or 2 massive hits last season for the Sens. He's definitely going to be one to watch out for. His new deal kicks in this year. He signed it in the summer. He signed a 2-year deal with the Sens, which pays him $1.6 million a season. So the cap hit, well, it doesn't actually pay him $1.6 million a season. He's on 1.5 this season and 1.7 next season. Cap hit will be 1.6. So he was signed to a new deal in the summer, and yeah, I think they got a great deal getting him on this, and also it's going to keep him hungry for his next deal for the 27-28 season. He really wants to sort of build up the reputation in the league as delivering those big hits, and also, you know, trying to pad out those offensive numbers will actually help him down the line, and it's going to help the Sens as well. Moving forward, I mean, the decor on the Sens is looking absolutely amazing. Obviously with the addition of Jordan Spence to the team as well. And we've got Nicholas Matampalo, who had a breakout year last year as well, who came in and gave a strong showing. I can't help but think that Nicholas will actually feel a little bit annoyed because he signed his new deal with the Sens after a great showing. Also went to the Four Nations with Finland as well. And then the Senators traded for Jordan Spence, which, to be honest, no one really saw actually coming. When the Jordan Spence trade happened, it was completely out of the blue. And but to add him to the team is well, it's a breath of fresh air, I think, from the defensive point. This is a player who has been in the league since 21-22 with the LA Kings. And I think last season he got 28 points from memory, 28 points. He got 4 goals, 24 assists last season. He will score you goals pretty much every season. He got 2 in his rookie season in 21-22. I think he was actually injured the 22-23 season, so I'm not too sure he got any goals that season. But yeah, he's good for points. I think to add those points from the blue line is always a help. And obviously he's going to come in. I think he's probably going to be slated, obviously, to come in on the third pairing. So he's either going to be with Matt and Palo or Cleven, or throw Donovan Sabrango into that, who had an absolutely amazing pre-season for the Sens. He beat out Carter Yakimchuk to the last roster spot for this season. So well done to Donovan. He's from the local area. I've already said on my Ottawa Senators European fan page that I'm a massive fan of Donovan Sabrango. Saw a few pieces on him last season that Claire Hanna did in game intermissions and things, and he just seems like such a likeable guy. So I'm glad that things are working out. And also, Cardi Yakimchuk's going to have a season in the AHL next season with Bellevue Sens. I think that will not do him any harm whatsoever. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. So I segued quite significantly there, didn't I? So I tipped my breakout player to be Tyler Cleven. We've touched on that now, so let's move on. And the last part was, will Tim Stutzler be an 80 to 90 point player? And I guessed he would be. So I sort of forecast he would be, along with Brian and Blake. We both sort of said the same thing. And although he didn't actually get 80 points, he got 79. So, you know what, I'm going to give myself a pass there. And it was better than last season. Timmy last season played all 82 games, which is the first time in his NHL career that he's played all the games in the season. He got 24 goals, 55 assists, which was good for 79 points. We also saw a bit of physicality in his game. In a big way, as he racked up 46 penalty minutes, which was absolutely crazy from Timmy. He's usually the instigator, so it's nice to see him sort of getting involved and stuff like that. He even picked up 5 penalty minutes in the playoffs as well, where he played 6 games, obviously helping himself to 2 goals, 3 assists. So a great season. Timmy is rounding out his game nicely, and I can only predict bigger and better things for Timmy moving forward. If he can be a productive player on his contract and cap hit that he currently is, the Sens contracts that they signed over the last few years have just been absolute dynamite for the team. So this year, Timmy Stutzler actually makes until 2030-31 $8.35 million cap hit a season, which is just absolutely ridiculous when you just think of the productivity we're going to get out of this guy. We've got him locked up for like another 5 or 6 seasons, and another very, very low cap hit, which sees the cap going up. So this contract's going to age like fine wine, the way that Drake Batherson's contract has with the team, and Brady Tkachuk's, let's be honest. So the point production, if you can get 70 to 80 points from Tim Stutzler at that cap hit a season, you're going to be very, very happy moving forward with the ability to bring in players on more money down the line with the increase in cap. I think it's absolutely amazing for the Ottawa Senators moving forward. So, really, really happy to be able to say that we called Timmy getting 80 to 90 points. And 70 technically would have been in the 70 to 80 points, but I'm going to give myself a pass on that. He was absolutely dynamite at the time and added other things to his game last season that just weren't there the years before. Also, just to jump in, Tim Stutzler was the first season last season that he wasn't minus on the old plus minus. So another tick in the box for Tim Stutzler to show you how much he's rounded out his game. So moving on to the new season, the Senators come in with a lot of ambition for the new season as they ended their playoff drought last season, as they got into the playoffs, losing to the Maple Leafs in 6 games. Grew a lot last season. Like I said earlier, players like Tim Stutzler took a step forward in their defensive side of the game, where they were getting more involved. We had a lot of improvement from players that, to be fair, you wouldn't have really picked out to improve, if that makes sense. Like, you had Nicholas Matampello coming through, and the third and fourth lines in particular coming up absolutely huge with Michael Amadio, Ridley Gregg, and also 2 players that I was a little bit sceptical of when they picked them up last season, midway in David Perron. Obviously, he took a lot of time off last season at the beginning, and it was slow to get going, to be honest, but really came to the fore towards the end of the season. And you also had Nick Cousins, who, in all honesty, I only thought signed with the Sens because there was no one else out there that was willing to meet his asking price for his contract. But obviously, local lad, it's great to see him back with the Sens, and we'll see what he can do for the new season. The Senators also added Fabian Zetterlund last season, and the Swedish winger, to be fair, came over with a lot of promise, but didn't really deliver in the goals or points, for that matter, really, front for the team, unfortunately, as he tried to settle in to the team on the fly, effectively. But Zetterlund signed a new deal with the Sens in the summer, which is a 3-year deal, which carries a cap hit of nearly $4.3 million per season. He comes off the back of some really, really strong seasons when he was in San Jose. looking back even to his New Jersey Devil days, he was always a point producer. I think his most points he actually got with the New Jersey Devils, playing 45 games in the 22-23 season, where he helped himself to 20 points. And then he had some breakout seasons with the Sharks, where he got 44 points in the 23-24 season. And then again, he got 36 points and 5 points with the Sens last season. So effectively, he got 41 points last season. So he's a points producer. And I think the Sens really, really need him to be a comfortable sort of 40 to 50 point player minimum. Much in the same way as you want, Drake Batherson is for the Sens. If we can get another player like that on the lower lines, it's really, really going to help. 5-on-5 last season, the Sens really struggled offensively, in my opinion. A lot of our goals would come from power plays or special teams, and last season they just didn't look comfortable at times at 5-on-5, and that has got to change this season. There's another player that I also want to give a bit of a shout out to, and that is Shane Pinto. Now, Shane Pinto for me is a bit of what we would call in the UK a Marmite player. You either love him or you don't, and to be honest, at the moment I sort of straddle between the two every sort of game for the Sens, because sometimes Shane Pinto looks an absolute world beater, and I mean like world beater. And he's always demanding these big contracts. Obviously, we had the betting problems. He came in I think it was 23-24, where he signed a contract for the league minimum at 7.75. And the last 2 seasons, he's been playing off a 2-year deal. This is the final year of his deal, which has a cap hit of 3.75 million. So it's a real prove-it year this year for Shane Pinto for me. If he wants to be paid the big money, at the age of 24, he's been with the team now. I mean, effectively, apart from his first year in 2021, he's effectively this will be his 5th full season with the Senators. His first full season, can you really count 21-22 where he played 5 games as a full season? You can't really, can you? So maybe let's play devil's advocate here. Let's say 4 full seasons. This will be his 4th full season. And you know what? He's always produced goals for the teams. In 22-23, we saw him help himself to 20 goals, and last season he helped himself to 21 goals. I'm sort of mixed on Pinto, to be honest. This season, we need to see him put a full season together, as he did in 22-23, where he got 35 points. Obviously, he was much younger back then, so he would have been, 21 years old. He's now coming into 24-25 mid-season. He's going to be coming into the peak of his career in the next few years. He needs to really, really start to show why the Sens should be paying him the big bucks to keep him around. Some nights I love Shane Pinto, some nights I don't. It just, sometimes he passed up way too many opportunities last year, and unfortunately I felt he went missing in 1 or 2 games as well. And I really want him to succeed, that's the thing. And I think it's just all the problems that we've had with the contract standoffs, and also the betting problems. The team has stuck by him. And I think that will be absolutely amazing, obviously, in a contract year for him, if he just goes out and absolutely obliterates it. I'm just sort of saying, I would love to see Shane Pinto in the 40 to 50 point player this season. And that's actually going to be the thing that I'm going to say. I'm going to be one to watch. I'm going to say Shane Pinto for a minimum 40 to 50 point player. And I would love to see him in the high 40s or low 50s. I think that is progression. And I think that gets you onto the next level of contract, similar to, say, like a Drake Batherson, who signed with the team through to 26-27, paid just under 5 million on the cap hit. So, if he wants to get up to that level, he really, really needs to be producing, obviously, sort of, to say it, around the sort of 40 to 50 points minimum. Drake Batherson is good for sort of, I would say at the moment, anywhere between sort of 50 to 60 points minimum, but predominantly the last few seasons he's been well into the 60s. I think he got 62 points in 22-23, 23-24 he got 66, and last season he got 68 points. He's improved as well, Batherson, this game. He was a minus 35 for his worst in the NHL in 22-23, and last season and the season before he was only minus 9, and he also got 2 points in the playoffs
last season for the Sens. So yeah, Shane Pinto is going to be my one to watch this year because I really want him to succeed. But you know, like I said, it's the Marmite effect for me. You either like him or you don't. And a lot of Sens fans love Shane Pinto. We need the skill set that goes with that as well if he wants to be the absolute powerhouse for the Senators and get that big contract. And also just want to feel like he wants to be here. Sometimes you just feel like he doesn't actually want to play for the he doesn't want to play in Ottawa, and that might just be me reading way too much into it, but I would just love to see him have an absolute pop-off campaign, sign a big ticket deal with the Sens for the next few years, and let him get his feet under the table and set up his shop at the CTC moving forward, hopefully taking us into the new arena. But that's way off down the line. But yes, so my player to watch would be Shane Pinto for this season, and I would love to see him get into the 40 to 50 point range as a minimum this season. So the Senators also added towards the end of last year Dylan Cousins. We spoke about Fabian Zetterlund, and he is signed until the 29-30 season at a $7.1 million cap hit, which, to be fair, for his actual body size and body of work, to be fair, he's always been a point producer, even playing for the Sabres. I would say last year was probably one of his worst seasons, where he was a -13 up until he got traded. But, you know, he's had seasons where he's absolutely dominated. And, you know, he also chips in with the penalty minutes as well. He's not afraid to drop the gloves, but he's a bit of a rare player, to be honest. Not quite on Brady's radar, but he's not afraid to get sort of get his mitts dirty, get in there. I think 22-23, he had 68 penalty minutes. He had 47 penalty minutes in 23-24 and 31 before the trade to Ottawa last season. And he will also chip in with goals. So the 22-23 was his career year, where he got 31 goals and 37 assists, which was 68 points. It was his first chance playing playoff hockey last season with the Sens, and along with Fabian Zetterlund, I'm really expecting him to hit the ground running and to come out with this team this season with all of the good vibes that they got from the playoff run last season. Even though it was only 6 games, I think it's actually going to help this team grow an awful lot. So I'm expecting him to come out and hit the ground running, and I would love to see him get back up to that 50 to 60 point player minimum, because these points being added to the Senators is going to improve us 5-on-5, which is at the end of the day what we're looking for moving forward. It's a massive season coming now. We don't just want to drop out the playoff race again. We need to minimum needs to be the wild card for the Sens this season, but we need to be looking at those actual playoff spots as well, and we need to be in and around it the whole season. If we're in and around it the whole season, that means that players like Cousins, like Zetterlund and like Pinto have all been producing, and I'm expecting another strong season from Linus Ullmark in goal. Whilst we're talking about goal, obviously, you've got Linus Ullmark in there, absolute legend. I still can't believe he plays for the Ottawa Senators between the pipes. Such a refreshing thing to have him on the roster. But I am a little bit sceptical if Levy is ready for the backup job yet. Now, I did explain this in one of my Senators videos for the free agents pickups, where I discussed that they maybe should try and retain Anton Forsberg on a lesser rate. He subsequently went and signed for the LA Kings, and it's nothing about Levy at all. But the problem is, I see with Levy, is that we've seen this way too many times with Ottawa, that the young goaltender comes in and they're almost not thrown to the wolves, but you've seen it with Mads Søgaard. At one time, he was touted so much by the Ottawa Senators, and now he's almost like the forgotten player. We weren't talking about Levi Meriläinen the way we are now last season, and to be fair, he came in last season and done an absolutely amazing job for the Sens. He came in relief, and he stood on his head, didn't he? Absolutely stood on his head. He got 3 shutouts last season, had an 8-3-1 record and a .925 save percentage in 12 games for the Sens. You can't argue with that. But at the same time, you want him to cook. You want him to cook in the AHL, surely, for a full season where he's the number one. He was sharing the duties with Mads Søgaard as a backup last season, most of it. And, the roles have reversed, because Mads Søgaard would have been the backup this season to Levi Meriläinen in the AHL. So it would have been interesting to see how Levy would have done with the load of being a starting netminder in the AHL, with all the stresses that come and the pressures that come with that. But instead, at times, he's going to probably sit on the bench a lot for Linus Ullmark. And yeah, he's going to learn a lot with Ullmark, but you want him to be game ready and you want him to be facing the puck. I would have personally, I am a little bit worried about this. And you know what? This is something that I would absolutely sort of fall on my sword over if Levi Merulainen has an absolute stellar season, because I would love it. But I'm just a bit worried that the Senators have left themselves a little bit short in the goalie department. Ullmark is incredible. I've already sort of waxed lyrical on how much I love Ullmark, but he has had his injury problems the last few seasons. And when he's come back, he's needed to be relied on straight away. I would love to have seen the Senators gone out and just picked up another goaltender and let Levy come up and let him just share the load if Ullmark gets injured again. And you know what? The Sens have the cap space to do it. The Ottawa Senators currently have around 2.3 million left in cap space. I know they said they didn't want to spend up to the cap, but I think they could have added a depth goalie or just retained Anton Forsberg. I wasn't in favour of rolling it back with Forsberg necessarily, but I just think it would have been good to have had a bit of a safety policy there for the team. But anyway, let's see how it goes. Obviously, you know, it's going to be interesting. Levy is definitely ready for NHL action, but personally, I would have loved to have seen him cook in the AHL just for one more season and be called upon as and when required. Instead, he's going to be Linus Ullmark's backup, and let's just see what happens there, guys. You know, like I said, I would love to be proved wrong on this, and yeah, it's going to be exciting to see what happens with the Senators this season. So yes, takeaways from this video. I'm just excited for the new season like every other fan. We start on the 10th against the Tampa Bay Lightning. We've got a lot of new faces in the team. We've got Lars Eller looking to start. Curtis McDermott, who just arrived from New Jersey. We've got Jordan Spence joining the team. We've also got full seasons from Zetterlund and Dylan Cousins to look forward to. It's going to be a great season. I'm really expecting, like I said, the Sens to be in and around the playoff race the whole season. And I'm just really excited to see what happens. We've also got some exciting players to call upon in the AHL should they be required. We've got Carter Yakimchuk, Arthur Kaliev, Stephen Halliday and Oscar Peterson, who had great seasons last year and a good training camp at the Sens. We've also got Matt Sogard down there for the goalie replacements, and we've also got Jackson Parsons, who had an absolute stellar career last year with the Kitchener Rangers. So it earned him a contract with the Sens. He had an absolute unbelievable season last year, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does. So yes, really excited for the season. It's one of the most well-rounded rosters that we've had in many a year. I indeed am looking forward to a really good season for the Senators, and I expect to see them in and around the playoff places most of the season, but minimum it has to be a wild card slot. So I just want to say thanks for watching. I'm going to be doing the monthly reviews for the Senators as I did last season, so I hope you feel the need to comment, rate and subscribe and stick around, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.